Hiya, 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 hiya. Wearing a hoodie and a mask and rubber gloves. Look like a monk. Well, I'm in Florida and it's raining on my side, you know. But wherever I go, I bring sunshine, and the rest of the state is under that big hurricane warning, Hurricane Ian, which is my son-in-law's name. Hurricane Ian was just here. Now we're going to have another one. This one is a bigger blow than the other one. But anyway, the fact is that I'm sitting outside in the rain, and I've got to tell you what happened with my wonderful cheesecake, which I introduced to the world. In San Gennaro, the patron saint of food, the Bishop of Naples, Italy. And every year you see they carry the statue through the streets and people put money in it, as you saw in the Godfather movie, if you ever saw that. Da 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 da. And they carry the statue through the streets, and people put money in the dress that what do they call the garment that he's wearing. And I don't know, a guy in a dress is always scary anyway, but we have this money going in there, and at the end of the parade, where does that money go? I'd love to be at the end of the parade. But anyway, people are wanting blessings. They want blessings, and so you have a big blessing when you have the Joey Reynolds cheesecake, because it is holy. It's the communion of the Jews. I made a Jewish type cheesecake because it's got cheese. There's a ricotta cheese, which is the Italian one. This is the Jewish one, which is the cream cheese, mostly, and it's great. It's just great. And there is no such thing as Kraft cheese in Philadelphia brand. There's no Philly. I think they make it somewhere in Bayonne. But I have the cheesecake, and it's the most wonderful hit that I've ever had in my life since being on the air. I'm going to be like Paul Newman, I'm going to be known for my food rather than my career on the air. Paul Newman is not known as a movie star anymore. He's known as the guy with the popcorn and the sauce and the Newman stuff. But I'm going to put this out now, all the Joey Reynolds stuff now. I started with this cheesecake, and we got in the hurricane. So I got to tell you so this is what happened to the cake, see? The fabulous Joey Reynolds cheesecake. I wouldn't buy that. I just wanted to show you. This is how fragile life is. When you have a cheesecake like this, and what's the song, MacArthur Park? Remember that? It rained on the cake. I guess it did. And this cake is obviously unedible, but I hate throwing it away because every box is $1. I've gotten to that point where I've become a businessman now. How much was that box, Most people don't think about that. I am thinking about how I'm going to survive this hurricane. My daughter's up there in the Tampa area where they're really getting hit with it. And it's not very... I lived through one before. We lived through Andrew. I think everybody in the Northeast remembers that one. And I lived through Caroline. I lived through them. They ran out of initials. They ran out of names in the alphabet. They are now calling them, and they're using the Greek alphabet to name to name the hurricanes. So what have I got here? I got the warning for the storm. Let a smile be umbrella, but don't get a mouthful of rain. Oh, that's my book. I looked a little younger there. I hate when people have these newscasts and sportscasts, and they're in the wind and they're in the action, and their hair doesn't blow away. Look at my hair, it's just perfectly coiffed, right? That means I'm not standing on the beach. But then they'll have people, the weather guys are standing in the hurricane. The wind is blowing 150 miles an hour, but their hair is in place. Or the women, they give them the cosmetic look when they're going to be on television, and they look like nothing's wrong with their face and their hair. But meanwhile, the city is falling apart behind them. It's just the way it is, you gotta look beautiful for television. That's what they want us to do. They want us to be social friendly on media. I am on the media now. This is the media rare. This is the way I like my steak. But when you do this thing that I'm doing right here, it's all ad lib, and nobody knows what's going to happen. I don't know what I'm going to say, but I come out here and I present my violated cheesecake I'm not necessarily hawking my book, but I did bring it into the relevance of the umbrella. And I thought that somewhere I would be able to make some money off of some of the stuff I've done, like the world's famous cheesecake cookbook, which I did with Myra Chanin. It's the #1 selling cookbook. But we signed a bad deal. We don't get paid every time it's the cheesecake. Now, we're victimized. Not getting any money there. And the book is old. Nobody wants to read when I had good times. They want to read the bad times. They want to read what's wrong. And we're in a society of idiots. Yesterday at the LaGuardia Airport, which incidentally has a shopping mall, it has a bunch of restaurants, and what you do is you check in downstairs with your bag and sign in, even if you're carrying a bag or checking it in the desk of the airline, and then you go through the security. After that, you take an escalator upstairs. You walk by all of the shops they have, all the wonderful fine stores for about a mile, and then you go into the area where the food court is, and you walk through all of that. Then you take another escalator or elevator downstairs to the gates, where they have all of these little restaurants again. And I bought a Diet Coke yesterday. It was, what was it, $4.20 for one Diet Coke, $4.20. So I drank half of it and brought it back. I said, I only use half, I want $2 back. This is the way I work, But it's not the way the world works. The world is always gouging. And why do the reason they charge so much, they said, is because we're at the airport. What the hell does that mean? You can be at a space station and not charge $4 for a Diet Coke, which actually, in effect, is not even healthy, frankly. And that's why Coca-Cola is in the water business. I don't know where their water's coming from. They got probably a garden hose in the back of the factory in Georgia, and they're filling it with water and selling it as premium water. I don't know why we are so water crazy in this country, bottled water. We think it's safer, I think. That's why I get my water out of Italy. And Italy, I should even be less trusting, because they were making wine out of ox blood back in about 8 or 10 years ago. It was a scandal that when you bought Italian wine, there was ox blood in it. I don't know how it tasted, and I don't care. I haven't had a drink in a long time, and I'm not going to start now. But this hurricane is definitely here, and we're going to have people who are going to move into Home Depot. That's where I would go. I wouldn't look for a shelter, or I wouldn't look for anything. I'd go right over to Home Depot, park myself in the hardware department, next to all of the food that they used to sell. I think, do they still sell food at home? No, not anymore. No. But this is a different world we live in. Everybody's in videotronics. I'm social. In the cheesecake thing, we had about 1 million people up and down the trail in the San Gennaro Feast in Little Italy. It was the biggest crowd ever. We had the meatball eating contest, and I semi-hosted it. There was a guy named Todd Wharton who was introduced with a streaming show, and he and I were both on the stage together. But I was listed as the actual host, so I moved my space over for Todd because he's up and coming. This is the new way. It's streaming. It's not over the air. It's not the conventional broadcasting. I stream. This is on all media. This is here on all platforms. I got this on YouTube and TikTok, and we're in the ball game. I think somewhere along the line, though, I'm not playing like the Yankees. I'm in the dugout, but I'm in the ball game. And I think we have a good future ahead with the cheesecake. Everybody can order it. All you got to do is go to joeyreynolds.cheesecake.com. And you can order it online, and it'll ship to you anywhere in the whole world, wherever you live. It won't look like this one here. This was not shipped to me. This is one that I tried to check through at the airport. And at the airport, they take everything out of the bag. If you have food in a separate little bag and you're checking in the walk-through, they take everything out and they start to examine it. They wouldn't let me have peanut butter because the peanut butter could be dangerous. I don't know, Lord knows what peanut butter has that the terrorists use. Probably the brand Schmuckers. And then the other thing I had, what did I have? I had mascarpone cheese and some bottled peppers from Little Italy, from Leva, the store that's on the corner of Grand and Mulberry. We hosted my Joey Reynolds cheesecake. So I don't know. I mean, I took that and they wouldn't let me go through with it. So I was really pissed off. I said, okay, I can take it and go through again, pack it together and check it through in the plane, under the belly of the plane. So my question is, why is it that this food is unacceptable when I'm going through the security at TSA and they empty my bag, yet if I check it through and it goes into the belly of the plane, it's okay? So peanut butter and mascarpone and peppers are okay in the belly of the plane. Speaking of bellies, and it's okay to do it down there and check it there, but not to walk through with it. It's a double standard we're living with everything. Everything's up for grabs now. You notice people are going left when it's right and right when it's left, and nothing's ever right because it's all wrong. Why? Because we have lowered gas prices. We can drive again, but you can't eat. They can't afford food. And the prices are outrageous for everything. The only thing I would do, let's see, if the diet, I was selling the cheesecake for $5 a slice at the San Gennaro, and the Pepsi Cola or Diet Coke was $4.20. Wouldn't you rather have a piece of cheesecake, which is far more enterprising, industrious, and good for you than this ridiculous diet soda that is questionable? No one's ever been able to describe what it does to your system. We all know that we die a little sooner. Thank you, Coca-Cola. What a successful company. I don't know how they did this, but it used to be cocaine. Now, if they put cocaine in it and it's $4.20, that's a bargain. Cocaine is God's way of saying you're too rich. So what am I going to do now? I'm going to go and cry over my cheesecake. Oh, that's tragedy. This is tragedy. You realize that I lost $1 on the box? It's a Reynolds wrap so far.